Isn't that nice? Just the sound of the sea. A little bit of anticipation building there. You don't know what's going to happen unless you've seen this before, and then it's probably going to be exactly what you would expect, because, to be honest, we don't vary it up that much. But, welcome. I'm Sam.
I'm Andy.
And we are going to be talking, not in this soft voice, for the whole...
I like this energy. I
don't think I can keep this up for the whole time. It's like when you're driving a car and you're having to be really careful to, like when you turn it into a parking spot, and you want to just fucking roar it in and do a handbrake turn, but turns out
baby driver.
Yeah, I am the baby driver, but baby's got to learn to walk sometime, and that's where we are now. And you just got to be careful.
I don't know. I like a good VOD you can sleep to. You can drift off. You know, some sounds of the sea, a bit of Melville transcribing
From olden idiot language, where there's just loads of references to...
That's a hot take.
Would you say that Moby Dick is the original... is it the original Big Bang Theory? Because there's a lot of references to things that I don't understand in it.
I don't think I've ever watched The Big Bang Theory. So
I wouldn't recommend it. There's not much going on there.
I mean, I would recommend Moby Dick.
I would recommend Moby Dick, and I've not read it the whole way through. For all I know, this could turn out to be a really bad book. Maybe there's some really questionable themes and things like that might crop up. But so far, I'm just going to get even closer to the mic and be very more pod. See, it's ASMR Moby Dick time. It's time to talk about a whale. Did you know whales have a big hole in the top of their heads, and doesn't that just make you jealous? Yeah, I don't know what ASMR is.
I don't have a pop guard, so I think the closer I get to the mic, probably just the worse it sounds.
Yeah, that's what ASMR is supposed to be about. If you can't hear the inside of someone's mouth sloshing around with all their fluids, then it's not ASMR. Having said that, I don't know what ASMR is, what it's for, or if it's like a sex thing. The more I do this, the less sure I am. So, should we just get to the Moby Dick part of the show?
I mean, we're into the third chapter. I just wondered if you wanted to recap any of your favourite moments from Moby Dick so far, because I've been loving the journey that you've gone on with Melville's writing already.
We've gone on a real journey. I mean, the real journey, as they always say, is the friends you made along the way. But from what I can tell, Melville doesn't have any friends, and neither do any of his characters. Ishmael is very much a flawed narrator type. I like the fact that he's clearly mad, doesn't know what pyramids were for, or maybe he does know what pyramids were for and we're all wrong.
Yeah, for baking mummies.
Yeah, what else are you going to do with it?
It's his thesis. I mean, it's funny you should say you kind of want Ishmael to make a friend at this point. You're feeling that he's a bit low. I think
Ishmael does need a friend. I think that would really help the story out.
Wouldn't it be interesting if a friend came along during one of these? Actually, not this chapter, I think the one after, but right. Let's really foreshadow it.
Yeah, the timing on that would be quite good. But I think right now, let's do a little Dragon Ball Z style catch up speak through. Let me just try and find some background music to put on while we do this. You spend this time filling the audience's heads with wonder. I'm going to find DBZ recap music.
Okay. See if anybody's active in chat.
No. Oh, Emma's there. Emma says the sound was good the first time, just like always.
Nice. Thanks, Emma.
Okay, let's see if this gets us DMCA'd. But here we go. Okay. Last time in Moby Dick, our hero Ishmael is a fucking lunatic who likes the sea but hates other people who are less worthy of the sea enjoying the sea. And he has decided that the time has come for him to get whaling. He's never been whaling before, but he knows his way around boats, he knows his way around hunky captains. This is a guy who knows how to get results on the ocean, to sniff the ocean air and to sniff out adventure. Nice. Having recently arrived in can't remember
New
which.
Bedford.
New Bedford. Not the same as the Bedford just up near Cambridge. He has gone and had a look at some hotels and decided they were all a bit too pricey, and he's very sad and has just stood outside looking at a cheap hotel and fucking gone off his gourd because it looks like shit. And that's where we are right now, but he's going in. He's going to brave it.
There goes the sleepy VOD.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Some good shoutcasting of Moby Dick.
Okay, so here we
Brings us in
go.
nicely.
Yeah, I will hand over to you to read us in for the start here.
Oh, excellent.
That's the right one. Okay.
Just lost my place, so that's...
well, we're chapter 3, The Spouter Inn, which is very confusing because I think the last we saw, it was called something like Peter Coffin's Coffin Inn or something.
I think it was the Spouter Inn by Peter Coffin.
That was it. Okay,
it just had a dash and then Peter Coffin, which...
Very confusing. It's a franchise.
Yeah. Melville was the first to admit that was confusing, so credit to him. I think so. I believe so.
Should ask Moby about this.
Why haven't you asked Moby yet about this? Why isn't he on the show?
I'm not sure if he's on Twitter.
We should look into this.
He must be on Twitter. Actually, no. There was the old thing where, the boyfriend issue. I don't know if he got off Twitter around there. Don't know. Just seen a lot of chat around Moby.
That seems like it's worth skimming over.
Yeah, let's move on before Moby comes and sues us. With all this Moby Dick money. 3
streams in. Shut down by Moby.
The stream starts and you see Moby sneak up behind me with a freaking hammer.
In many ways, he's your white whale. Okay. Chapter 3, The Spouter Inn. Entering that gable-ended Spouter Inn, you find yourself in a wide, low, straggling entry with old-fashioned wainscots, reminding one of the bulwarks of some condemned old craft. On one side hung a very large oil painting, so thoroughly besmoked and every way defaced that in the unequal cross-lights by which you viewed it, it was only by diligent study and a series of systematic visits to it, and careful inquiry of the neighbours, that you could anyway arrive at an understanding of its purpose. Such unaccountable mass... Sorry, I'm already imagining how you're going to translate this. Such unaccountable masses of shades and shadows that at first you almost thought some ambitious young artist in the time of the New England hags had endeavoured to delineate chaos bewitched. But by dint of much and earnest contemplation and oft-repeated ponderings, and especially by throwing open the little windows towards the back of the entry, you at last come to the conclusion that such an idea, however wild, might not be altogether unwarranted.
So we found a haunted painting.
Yeah, he's found a haunted painting. So.
And the main thing I've noticed about this painting is it's shit because there's no water in it.
Oh.
There's no water on this painting. We've covered this before. Nary 2 chapters ago.
But is it possible that he hasn't investigated? I mean, this is all foreshadowing. Is it possible in the next paragraph even that he might suggest there is water in this painting?
For fuck's sake, is it more paragraph? I've not read ahead. Does he just keep... Oh my god, how many paragraphs are there of this painting? Oh my god.
You're in for a real treat with this chapter.
He's going to go off on one already. He's in a...
It's best to focus on this in small, really, just focus on the small minutiae of the task. There's so far.
An absolute haze.
Just be excited about the fact that we're dealing with chaos bewitched in a painting.
So that's right. The Spouter Inn. I'm going to call it In the Inn, because that's where we are now. And it's wordplay.
I was going to say, do we need to explain what spouter is? Do we need a parenthetical here to say?
No, because we don't know. Would people back in the day know?
Would that stop John Everyman from trying to explain what it is? Just not knowing something?
No, it's just a name. Names don't mean anything. Okay, so has he changed tense here? Because we already know he's gone off on one. I paced the streets, and now he's like, entering the inn, you find yourself. So this is all suddenly about you, the reader. Yeah, absolutely wild stuff. I mean, that's basically how I've been writing most of this anyway. So, you walk into this inn, right? And it looks like shit. Because that's basically what he says, right?
Yeah. And it looks a bit like a boat. I think that's important to him as well.
Like an old fucked up boat they dragged onto land and forced into being a house. Question mark.
So this is a violent image. I like it. It's getting more and more ominous.
John Everyman's angry at having to read this.
Somebody one day is going to get really angry about having to watch our VODs, and they're going to do their own simpler version of this.
Well, I was going to say that. I was thinking about, you know, when you're scrolling through Netflix or whatever, and there's like episode synopsises.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to have the forewords of explanations of what this is all about. But before we get into it, I think there should be a synopsis of what happens in each chapter, just so that if you don't want to read an entire book, you can just get, you know, the one sentence version. And what we would have so far, it's going to be chapter 1. A fella called Ishmael likes the sea but hates people. Chapter 2.
I think
A fella called Ishmael is cold and alone and goes looking for a hotel.
I think weirdly you're harking back to like the way they used to do it in like 1800s even, I think, where you just get like a series of dashes and words at the beginning of a chapter saying this is all the stuff that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, I love those. That in which ba 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 ba.
Yeah,
They're my favourites. But normally you use that to sort of allude to it in like a fancy way and build tension. No, this is just what happens here. Stop asking me questions.
My favourite modern example of this was when the A-Team didn't used to say previously on the A-Team because there was no continuity between episodes. They would say this time on the A-Team because they were so afraid of losing your attention with their terrible show.
That's a good idea. Excuse me?
Show like a series of explosions and fights.
I'm not sure about the A-Team being a terrible show. It was iconic.
I mean, I don't know if I have a clear enough recollection of it.
Just some fellas go around. There's bad things are happening, and then they fix it by driving their van into warehouses. There's a lot you can identify with that.
That's definitely the John Everyman summary of the A-Team. So well done. I guess it is easier with modern works.
This painting. Okay, so you walk into this inn, right, and it looks like shit, like an old fucked up boat they've dragged onto land and forced him to be in a house. We don't need a question mark. Our guy is confident. Blah, blah, blah. There's a fucked up old painting. Blah, 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 blah. No matter which way you look at it, looks like shit. Okay, he's just really going in on this painting. No matter which way you look at it, it's shit. Incomprehensible, nightmarish, like something from Age of Hags, which is capitalized like it's a historical fact.
I mean, I guess that's how he's using it too. Salem stuff.
What does the word puerile mean? I want to use the word puerile, but I don't know what it means. And gross. John Everyman. Ah, yeah. Gross. A gross splat of bad imagery in a frame. That's pretty much all we've got there, isn't it?
And then he's saying, and then the bit of foreshadowing for the next paragraph, he's saying, but if you let a bit more light in, you realise, oh, actually, it's a turn here. So he says, but actually, after you've thought that it's just chaos, you let a bit more light in and you realise that you might not have been mistaken when you thought it was chaos.
Wait, what?
Hang on a sec, let me just read. So, but by dint of much and earnest contemplation and oft-repeated ponderings, and especially by throwing open the little window towards the back of the entry, you at last come to the conclusion that such an idea, however wild, might not be altogether unwarranted. And such an idea, I think he's referring to it being chaos bewitched. I think.
Is this a Dark Souls thing?
How's it a Dark Souls thing?
I don't know.
It sounds a bit grim.
Yeah, and they've got paintings you go inside, and they're really gross too.
Anyway, I think you covered the main points. I think I'm confusing myself maybe here.
We're all just being befuddled by Melville's tales from the Age of Hags.
If I've learned anything from this, it's that it's okay to be confused sometimes.
Okay, but maybe.
Actually, no, wait, that's the opposite of what John Everyman wants, isn't it?
You look at it and calm down a bit, and you think, nah, it's not that bad actually. And then your senses come back, and you're like, no, it's bad. Next paragraph.
Why? Just one last thing before we leave this first paragraph, and I'm sorry, I know it's a long chapter, but I love the fact that he goes through this series of ways that he tries to find out what it's about, where he goes to have a look at it. He goes on a series of systematic visits, so he keeps going back and forth to the painting and staring at it, and then careful inquiry of the neighbours, so he just starts asking people around this inn what's up with this painting.
Okay, let's work that in. Look at it from every angle. Stand all over the place. Ask the people nearby. They don't know what's up either. But maybe. Yeah, okay, that works. But maybe you look more at it and then you calm down a bit and you think, no, it's not that bad actually. Then your senses come back and you're like, no, it is bad.
This is just me in any art gallery, I think.
That's my review of the painting. Okay. But what most puzzled and confounded you was a long, limber, portentous black mass of something hovering in the centre of the picture over 3 blue, dim, perpendicular lines floating in a nameless yeast. The fuck? A boggy, soggy, squitchy picture, truly enough to drive a nervous man distracted. Yet there was a sort of indefinite, half-attained, unimaginable sublimity about it that fairly froze you to it, till you involuntarily took an oath within yourself to find out what that marvellous painting meant. Ever and anon a bright but alas descriptive idea would dart you through. It's the Black Sea in a midnight gale. It's the unnatural combat of the 4 primal elements. It's a blasted heath. It's a Hyperborean winter scene. It's the breaking up of an icebound stream of time with a capital T. But last of all these fancies yielded to that one portentous something in the picture's mist. That, once found out, and all the rest were plain. But stop, does it not bear a faint resemblance to a gigantic fish? Even the great Leviathan himself? Still just thinking about the painting, then?
Yeah, but I think you have to admit he's doing a pretty good job of building up what's in this painting.
I mean, he is, but let me just throw open paint here. Right, so...
You're going to illustrate this.
I'm going to try and figure out what this painting is of, because he really does the construction work on it. So mostly it's black, right?
Yeah, do you want me to just read out the clues and you construct it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not used a paint in a long time. Okay.
Okay.
Size bigger. Okay. Right.
Are we using any clues from the previous paragraph as well?
Yeah. Give me the painting. We've got to figure this out.
Okay, so it's some kind of chaos is taking place. I know that's not a great basis to start with.
Okay, I'm doing chaos now. Yep.
And there are 3 blue, dim, perpendicular lines floating in a nameless yeast. So
blue, dim, perpendicular. So 1, 2, 3. That's basically perpendicular. Yeah, and the nameless yeast.
Nameless yeast, implying frothing, I think. And then above that, we have this black mass of something hovering in the center of the picture over these three blue perpendicular lines.
Wait, what's hovering over him?
A black mass of something in the center of the picture.
Okay. There we go. And that's okay. There's our black mass.
Okay, I'm not looking at this picture. I'm waiting for the surprise.
I'll be honest, Andy. You're winning in this exchange. Okay. What else we got?
Okay, we've got that it's boggy, soggy, twitchy. So I know that's not a lot to go on.
Bogs are green. Everyone knows that. Shrek knows this. Yeah. And then soggy is like a desaturated blue, I think.
Okay, and now we get into specificity, but it's this kind of theories about what it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Black Sea in a midnight gale.
Okay, if it's going to be a sea, it needs a bit more blue. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hint of blueness there that could denote the sea.
We've established we need water for it to be a good painting. That was chapter 1, like you said.
Yeah.
It's the unnatural combat of the 4 primal elements.
Okay, so that's fire.
Yeah,
fire. We've already got water.
Water, air.
Air.
Take me some air.
How? Is there an airbrush? Bit of air.
It's got air in it, hasn't it? So
it does. Right. And you look through air to see it. Okay, and then what else we got?
It's a blasted heath.
Oh, wait. Did I miss an element? We got fire, water, air, earth. I mean, Earth's kind of there.
Earth's going to be in the blasted heath image, probably.
Yeah. Okay, did you mention a blasted heath, or is that next?
That's next.
Okay, blasted heath. Yep, that's the Clan Grant symbol there, a hill on fire. Yep.
Hyperborean winter scene.
There you go, that's winter. That's some lines. Yep.
It's the breaking up of the ice-bound stream of time.
Okay, so we're going to represent this with that's going to be a clock face.
And now that you've got all of these things, you need to somehow render that at the beginning of it, there's this dim awakening of there being a faint resemblance to a gigantic fish, even the great Leviathan himself. So something in which probably is this black mass we saw is looking a bit fishy.
Okay, so we've got a scene here, and I think I can definitely translate this into a fish.
All right, let's see this.
Yeah, I can do this easily. Okay, so this is like that. This is exactly what the painting looks like. This is how it's described, and what I'm about to draw on in purple is going to be Ishmael's art brain coming to life, and this is his Leviathan. Okay, so we've got. It's kind of like down here, and that's like that. There we go. Around here.
Are you sharing this on stream yet, by the way?
I am. I'm also sharing it with my screen share on Discord. You should be able to see
I am not seeing it on Discord, and I'm not seeing it on the stream.
Is the stream not on?
Maybe it's a big delay.
That would be bad. Yeah, I'm definitely.
No, you know what?
I'm sending it.
No, on my stream, you're still editing words, so I think it's just that it's really, really delayed.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't see the painting, so...
What's that, M? Okay, I'm seeing it. You're being fed false information, Andy, I'm sorry.
It's just my phone being slow, I guess. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if it's showing last time's stream. I bet it's showing last time.
That would do it.
These chumps wrestling with chapter 2 were well beyond that.
Okay, so I've just drawn a shark, not a whale. Okay, what's his Leviathan? He keeps talking about the Leviathan.
Oh, I see. This is the thing that swallowed up Job, I think, in the Bible. Was that a Leviathan?
Okay, and let's put a little guy here then. This is Job.
Oh, wait, not Job. Is it Job?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fucking Bible guy. Anyway, that's the painting.
That is beautiful.
Mm.
And I think if we're being generous, I think we might say that Ishmael could be forgiven for needing to ask the rest of the patrons maybe what it might what it might represent.
I'd put this in my fucked up hotel.
Yeah, well, I mean, so would Coffin Peter or whatever he's called. What I really like is that you render all the chaos and then draw in purple the outline of fish.
Yeah.
It's kind of like writing, "This is a fish."
No, because the eye was already there. And then I'm following a lot of the outlines that were in it already. But he's also perched on a volcano. That's just unfortunate. I think this is fine.
Oh, yeah, there are the blue lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing it. If I were looking at that, I would say that's, I mean, not to skip ahead too much, I would say that is people attempting to hunt a whale, maybe.
Janelle, is that what's in store in this book, Andy?
Who knows? I don't want to spoil anything.
We'll ask Moby. Okay.
I know we've got a lot of excited whaling hobbyists listen to this show, so I don't want to foreshadow too much.
That's my review of the painting. So we just had our review of the painting.
I'll be sad to see it go, frankly.
Yeah. It was shit. But there's a lot of things you can say about shit. To me, it looked like a lot of things. Heath's, what were the other, Heath's elemental conflicts.
Yeah, Heath's conflicts, midnight gales, seas, which we like. He likes seas.
Gales, seas, which you know I'm a big fan of.
And I think my favourite one of all these is the breaking up of the icebound stream of time.
These, some awful time-smashing cataclysm.
But it also looks like fish.
Seas, which you know I'm a big fan of, and then... But mostly I think it looked like a massive fish. Maybe it's just that I had fish on my mind. But my mind was telling me there was a fish on that painting. That's how art is sometimes, I guess.
This reminds me of when I was visiting you and Emma, and I said it'd be a good idea to visit the Tate Modern, and then
And I rage quit because they said this guy invented fractals.
Yeah, I think that was Pollock. Yeah.
Did you know the first recorded instance of any kind of fractal pattern? And I'm like, no! The fuck are you talking about?
And there's also a video of a man sitting in a bathtub slapping himself in the face with some meat.
Yep. That's just how art is sometimes.
In conclusion, I'm sorry.
That's okay. In fact, this one's you actually.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm also really looking forward to this because this is the paragraph where it's like, so you think it's a crazy painting. Actually, it's a perfectly normal painting of this. Let's find out.
Okay.
In fact, the artist's design seemed this, a final theory of my own, partly based upon the aggregated opinions of many aged persons with whom I conversed upon the subject. The picture represents a Cape Horner in a great hurricane, the half-foundered ship weltering there with its 3 dismantled masts alone visible, and an exasperated whale purposing to spring clean over the craft is in the enormous act of impaling itself upon the 3 mastheads.
That's very metal. What the hell? That's Free Willy, but into a pike line.
Yeah, this is the album cover for Ishmael's metal band.
Well, I know how I'm doing the thumbnail for this chapter.
I mean, you've already painted it, so.
I have, yeah. In fact, we can modify this. I don't know how he didn't see that to start with, to be honest. We got
Yeah,
this.
it seems
Oh, yeah, that's
pretty
the wrong
distinct.
colour. But the masts were blue. We got this, and then this, and this. And then I'm guessing this is drawn by a 10-year-old, so it's obviously just got blood on it. Yeah, there we go. All right. Weird.
Beautiful.
Then it clicked though. It was actually a ship all fucked up and crashed with a whale doing a sweet jump over it. But sweet turned to sour for this aquatic lad. He's only gone and speared himself on all three of the ship's masts. Total lunacy.
What a mad lad.
I wouldn't paint it. And then let's get some interest. What kind of mad bastard would hang a painting like that?
Is this through the keyhole now?
What kind of mad bastard? Just a deviation on the through the keyhole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the through the keyhole thing where it's who would live in a house like this? And the answer is a couple who were taken hostage by Iraq in the 90s. Oh, it's these guys who were held hostage by Saddam Hussein.
Oh,
I would recommend Googling that now or at a later
what
point.
clues did they have in the house?
It's just a normal house. Absolutely fantastic TV.
Oh, what a shame! It's I don't think it's being screened anymore. I don't know that I know actually.
Just search. Just search through the keyhole
Iraqi
hostage.
prisoners.
Yeah, literally that. Okay.
Okay, that was worth diverging.
The opposite wall of this entry was hung all over with a heathenish array of monstrous clubs and spears. Some were thickly set with glittering teeth resembling ivory saws, others were tufted with knots of human hair, and one was sickle-shaped, with a vast handle sweeping round like the segment made in the new mown grass by a long-armed mower. Is that a person with long arms, or is the mower an object that has arms?
Sorry, I was checking chat for a second.
We're talking about with a vast handle sweeping around like the segment made in the new mown grass by a long-armed mower. I'm having a real hard time with this.
I'm going to say the mower's a person.
I think he has to be.
That's the hill I'm going to die on with that.
You shuddered as you gazed and wondered what monstrous cannibal and savage could have ever gone a death harvesting with such a hacking, horrifying implement. Mixed with these were rusty old whaling lances and harpoons, all broken and deformed. Some were storied weapons, with this once long lance, now wildly elbowed. 50 years ago did Nathan Swain kill 15 whales between a sunrise and a sunset. Doesn't say that they're continuous, actually. And that harpoon, so like a corkscrew now, was flung in Javan seas and run away with by a whale. Years afterwards, slain off the Cape of Blanco, the original iron entered nigh the tail, and like a restless needle sojourning in the body of a man, travelled full 40 feet and was at last found embedded in the hump. Now, hang on here.
Story.
Hold up. So the spear was in the whale's tail, right? That's what he said?
Yeah, neither tail.
Okay, nigh, I'm assuming is just one of those words that doesn't count, and you just say the tail.
Yeah.
And then somehow travelled up towards the guy's... Well, the hump is going to be like his forehead, isn't it? How's that happened?
I think they've got a hump, I think, just before it gets down into the tail bit, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean,
it's been
he's
dragged by the water. It's
suggesting
not that the whale has been swimming backwards.
It's not just the force. Yeah, it's just growing that way, I guess, which is equally horrific. And I mean, we're getting ahead a bit, but yeah, I think it's this idea that if you get like a thorn embedded in your skin, that it can kind of travel around in there, depending on like growth and stuff.
I don't like that. I think that's pretty gross.
Well,
Okay.
we could edit it, and we have the power to edit it out completely.
We're in a gross place. We've got to make this gross.
Okay.
It's transparently gross. Things like needles move inside. Oh, an urban legend. Okay. Oh,
Is
not
there an
an
urban
urban legend. I don't know. I've never heard it before, but I don't like needles, and I don't care to learn more.
I'm pretty happy to hear that it's an urban legend.
Like, what if someone like stabs you in the arm, and they leave it in, and the next thing you know, you've been stabbed years later in the forehead because it's just moved up there.
And
like,
they planned that all along.
With the damage scale? What is happening in the human body these days?
These are just some of the questions we like to ask on our stream.
Okay, so we're still talking about paint. What kind of mad bastard would hang a paint like that? Probably the same kind of mad bastard
Nice.
would hang up a load of monster mode clubs and other weapons. You've got your clubs with teeth in them. You got what was it? Clubs with hair in them. You've got spears and harpoons and lances and every other form of pointed stick that's ever been used to cause harm.
You're going to get the long arm mower in there.
I'm getting it in there. There was even a sickle, which had a shape to it, which I can only describe as being like a long armed lawnmower.
Parentheses for people with long arms.
Make of that what you will. For I dare not to dwell on it. Alright, what else do we have? And there was
a bit scary.
There was also this absolutely legendary spear that was all jacked up by the ravages of time, sea, and whale, so that it now looked more like a cork screw. People said it had once been used by a really cool and handsome whale slayer, and that it had been chucked in a whale, and the whale died years later with the spear still in it. But now the spear was in a different place.
Come on, this is good. This is all clearer.
Mysterious behaviors that these whales are capable of. Who is to say that... No, I'm interpreting it there. I was going to say who's to say that the whale didn't take the spear for his own and used it to commit crimes on other whales, but that's putting words in Melville's mouth or pen.
Yeah, we want to make Melville say anything that sounds a bit off the rails.
Yeah, definitely.
I do like the editorializing where you've said that it's this handsome guy. We're getting close to hunky captains.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's basically what it was. We had the part
Yeah, it's
about
true.
it was the best one. This long lance. We've got his name even.
Yeah.
Once long ago, did Nathan Swain kill 15 whales? Yeah,
I think
that's basically saying he was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, in updating it for a modern audience, you've got to say like
This was good at the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people now. It's like what's really cool or somebody being handsome. What was really cool then? Throwing out
Killing whales.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good translation.
I do think if we start calling harpoons spears now, you're going to have to do that for the rest of the book, and there are going to be a lot of harpoons. So it's your choice.
It's any pointy object. I'm going to use them interchangeably because they don't make a difference, you know.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's that settled.
Or is it important that I clarify that was a harpoon? Is there much spear chat?
It's all going to be harpoons, I think.
Okay, that's right. Legendary harpoon. Okay, we'll go harpoon. Tis the spear to be whaling with. But
True.
he himself was saying spears. But maybe they were spears. I don't know. I'm not a whale guy. Okay, next paragraph. Go.
Okay. Crossing this dusky entry and on through yon low arched way, cut through what in old times must have been a great central chimney with fireplaces all round, you enter the public room. A still duskier place is this, with such low ponderous beams above and such old wrinkled planks beneath, that you would almost fancy you trod some old craft's cockpits, especially of such a howling night, when this corner-anchored old ark rocked so furiously. On one side stood a long, low, shelf-like table covered with cracked glass cases, filled with dusty rarities gathered from this wide world's remotest nooks. Projecting from the further angle of the room stands a dark-looking den, the bar, a rude attempt at a right whale's head. Be that how it may, there stand the vast arched bone of the whale's jaw, so wide a coach might almost drive beneath it. Within are shabby shelves ranged round with old decanters, bottles, flasks, and in those jaws of swift destruction, like another cursed Jonah, that answers that question.
That was the guy, yeah.
By which name, indeed, they called him.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Melville. Bustles a little withered old man, who, for the money, dearly sells the sailors deliriums and death. All right. It's a theme bar.
It is.
Okay. And the theme bar is death. Particularly death to whales.
Someone's given us a good little bit in chat. This is a good interpretation of how that spear moved. He chucked it so hard at a whale's arse that even though the whale got away, it came out through the whale's head years later.
Whoa!
I am stealing that. I'm sorry.
Preserve momentum.
Yeah. We're putting that in there. Thank you.
A powerful line.
Yeah, that's got way more impact than what I had written.
I like it.
Yeah, we'll just put that in there. Oh, my formatting. It's the piracy detector.
No?
There we go. Who said it once been used by a really cool and handsome whale slayer? Yeah, it should. Yeah, that's good. Very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Are you going to give a disclaimer now that nobody else gets any money when you sell this book, Sam?
Andy, we're not going to get any money when we sell this book. This is all going to go towards our legal fees against Moby.
Against Moby when he finally finds out what we've been doing.
This goes for me to hire a bodyguard. Fend off Moby.
You better bring a big harpoon.
Oh, I am the fucking hell. I always knew I was going to die in suspicious circumstances. Now I know Moby's going to kill me with a hammer or a harpoon.
You always knew that as well, didn't you?
I mean, I'd had suspicions.
You've been having those dreams.
Just something in the darkness that looks like it.
Something
Looks like the white
really
ball from a
stands out.
game of pool just coming towards me. Okay.
Okay.
So this place is fucked. So basically, you go through, and yeah, it's all just covered in skulls and dusty old bottles.
It works.
Moving further in, you begin to figure out what this place is about. It's a theme bar. And I'm stealing this one from you. And the theme is death. Death and whales. It's all covered in dusty, cracked and fucked up bottles and other glasswares. And at one end, there's a massive whale jaw. So big, you could drive a car through. Because people aren't going to know how big a wagon was at the time.
Yeah, it's quite. It's a subjective term, isn't it? It's like how big is the coach? But if you say car.
Yeah, because if I say coach now, that's a bus.
Yeah.
A wagon or car through. I'll just say it's really big.
Yeah, just say it's big.
So
That's
big.
That's not a subjective term at all.
You could use it as the foundation for a 6-person tent.
Nice.
Because I think a lot of people know how big tents are.
Yeah. Certainly if they're a 6-person tent, you can...
That's a lot of people in there.
It's a strong mental image, isn't it?
And we're talking about finding a place to stay, so we're keeping within the home and hearth theme.
Not straying ever so slightly from the sense of death and doom, but then I guess the coach image does as well. So,
if you were a serial killer,
there we go.
Okay. Right. Oh, and there was this bit at the end. Loads of steep-looking booze. Wait, where were we? Yeah. All decanters, bottles, flasks, and in those jaws of... Oh, he's calling the bottles jaws of swift destruction, not the whale jaw.
Oh, is it both those things?
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Like another cursed Jonah by... Oh, you get trapped in the bottle. Oh, when you put the contents of the bottle inside you, you replace what was in the bottle with your own self and get into a boozy prison.
And then he really stresses that at the end by saying, there's a little old man in this prison.
There's literally a little old man in these bottles.
In these bottles who selfie drinks.
I don't know how to translate that.
That would be a hell of a metaphor, wouldn't it? It's like a prison that you drink, which has little bottles in it, in which there are little men who sell you more drinks.
I have to leave it out. I can't.
Oh, you can do this.
You think?
Yeah, so under these
so many containers.
There are there's a bunch of junk. And in these
booze.
And I think by saying in these jaws of swift destruction, he's still, as you rightly say, he's getting towards the idea of drink, but I think he's still actually just meaning the jaws themselves.
No, I think he's literally just talking about the bottles. Like, within it, and in those jaws of swift destruction, like another cursed Jonah.
Well, it's saying
he's literally saying inside the jaws is a little old man who's trying to sell you booze.
Yeah.
Okay, no, this works.
Yeah.
It's not a metaphor. There's literally an old man stood inside the...
Yeah.
Okay. But this was no tent. Not right now, anyway.
We're in it now, Sam. We pass all the units. We translate everything.
A tiny man. Dangerous eyes in his face. And a look about him that suggested he wanted to... What's the line? Yeah, okay.
Dearly sold.
So either get you drunk or kill you.
Or both. It's like the man who would live in the serial killer tent, I guess.
I suppose he would be. Okay, I think we've covered it.
That's excellent. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Abominable are the tumblers into which he pours his poison, though true cylinders within the villainous green goggling glasses deceitfully taper downwards to a cheating bottom. Parallel meridians rudely pecked into the glass surround these footpads goblets. Filter this mark and your charge is but a penny. To this a penny more, and so on to the full glass. The Cape Horn measure, which you may gulp down for a shilling. He's just okay. He's been to pubs, and he's been to what's that one run by that horrible man that looks like a haunted Muppet? Weatherspoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he knows how Weatherspoons work, where they deliberately underserve you. Because it's literally company policy, which is one of many reasons why you should never go to a Weatherspoons.
This is just one of the many lessons we can share on this stream.
You see, we've got the educational tag.
Yeah. What other tags have we got, just so we can
we've got writing and educational. Yeah.
Oh, we've got that covered.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what other tags are. I don't even know how you search by tags, to be honest. Anyway.
Neither does anyone else, I guess.
Get you drunk or kill you. I could tell from looking at him. This was the kind of barkeeper who was a prick about measures. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Always ripping you off and underserving. Undeserving or underserving? Is underserving all one word? Is it even a phrase? I don't know. It is now.
It needs to be.
Underserving. Like a villain.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah, we get the impression that he really doesn't like him.
I mean, yeah. Do you think this is? How much money are you gonna bet that this is Peter Coffin?
I think this is almost definitely Peter Coffin. We've already know that he's a serial killer. That's been covered.
What
Guy
a way!
Hangs out in a whale jaw.
Just to appreciate this for a moment, what an amazing way of building up this character by first introducing like the fact that he has a crazy themed bar, and then he's got a very crazy painting on the wall. He's got lots of dangerous implements that he could kill you with. And then he is the man himself in this bar where he sells stuff to kill you. But he's
with
also
kooky measures to rip you off.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this one's you.
Upon entering the place, I found a number of young seamen gathered around a table, examining by a dim light diverse specimens of scrimshander.
I know what that is off the Icewind Dale books. That's fishbone carvings. Yeah.
Yeah. I sought the landlord, and telling him my desire to be accommodated with a room, received for answer that his house was full, not a bed unoccupied. But avast, he added, tapping his forehead, you ain't no objections to sharing a harpooner's blanket, have ye? I suppose you're going a whaling, so you better get used to that sort of thing.
Oh, God, he's sized him up instantly, hasn't he?
Yeah, who'd have thought?
What good instincts Peter Coffin's.
Implements you could kill whales with. He's such a detective that he's like, you're into whaling, aren't you?
Yeah, okay. Upon entering the place.
Are we keeping a seaman count in this book? This is the first time we've had.
We can do that.
The word seaman. That's the first on the tally.
But updating this for modern days, he isn't using the word seaman in a comedy manner. So I think we should just say sailors.
Oh, that's interesting. Are you still going to keep a tally of the times you removed it, or?
No, I don't think I will.
That isn't in the afterword of the book. It's like, by the way,
we can do the stats. We can do the Control F, spot the difference searches
That's true.
Yeah, we'll have a stats package put together.
Excellent.
Okay.
That's how you sell it to advertisers.
I walked past some sailors who were having a nice time looking at some fish bones. Went on up to the landlord. He looks me up and down. I was about to try undresses me with his eyes, but I need some other way of saying instantly knows what it's about. Okay, I went up to the landlord. Asked about a room. He looks me up and... that should be a comma, actually. No, it should be an and. This is writing. He looked... no, that's about a room. He looked me up and down. Look it. Looked me up and down. And said, "We ain't got no rooms. But I reckon you're a whale guy. So go share a bed with another whale guy." Go share a bed with another whale guy. It's just what whale guys do. You are a whale guy. Ain't ya? Ain't ye? Yeah, there we go, because it's a pirate.
Nice.
Okay, I think that's covered it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you better use that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that works.
That's excellent. Well, I think we'll wait until the very end, and then I'll read back through all this. But from what you're saying, it sounds excellent.
I told him that I'd never like to sleep two in a bed, and that if I should ever do so, it would depend upon who the harpooner might be, and that if he, the landlord, really had no other place for me, and the harpooner was not decidedly objectionable, why, rather than wander further about a strange town on so bitter a night, I would put up with the half of any decent man's blanket.
All right.
Okay, so this is, I said back to him, it's not so much about whether he's a whale guy or not. I'll share a blanket with anyone. Oh yeah, bed. Share a bed, because we said bed before. I'll share a bed with anyone. Oh. Well, not just anyone. It really depends on the person. Rather than their occupation. You know? You know?
Just messaging from Emma just saying, "I'm going to end up doing the stats for you, aren't I?" I think that sounds like Emma's volunteering, so...
I mean, Emma loves stats.
Then, yeah, that's settled.
She'd come and do fucking spreadsheets for it whether I wanted her to or not.
It's about time somebody did.
Just get my life in order. Yeah. Let's throw a line on here. You know. Besides, baby, it's cold outside. Not just it's cold outside. It's cold outside. So, yeah, just besides, it's cold outside. That works.
It sounds a bit like he's about to start singing a song about how he'll share any man's blanket if it's cold outside.
Oh, it depends on the man.
Depends on the man. That's the refrain.
Depends on the man. Baby, it's cold outside. I'm hunting a whale. Baby, it's cold outside.
There's a small man in my bottle who sells me other bottles of drink.
Oh my god, Moby Dick the musical coming soon.
Yeah, very good for this song. equally litigious to the rest of the things that we're doing.
Could we get Moby on board for that?
I mean, if he's going to be on board for anything, surely it's that. Okay. How are we going to handle single lines of dialogue? Are we still taking it in turns?
I think, see what you feel like. Just go as long as you want. Anyway, this is you.
Okay. I thought so. All right, take a seat. Supper? You want supper? Supper will be ready directly. I sat down on an old wooden settle, carved all over like a bench on the battery. At one end, a ruminating tar was still further adorning it with his jackknife, stooping over and diligently working away at the space between his legs. He was trying his hand at a ship under full sail, but he didn't make much headway, I thought.
Just wanking into the bar.
I knew how you were going to interpret that as soon as...
I wouldn't have if you hadn't started laughing.
Oh, no. It's this horrible cycle of me assuming.
Diligently working away at the space between his legs. It's the diligently that does it.
Yes.
Okay, so first off, that line about supper, that's just going in there. That works. That's really good.
Yeah.
I took a look around. One guy sat near me was fumbling around between his legs. His eyes were crossed and his tongue was poking out. I looked away after a while.
Is this against Twitch's terms of service?
I think this is fine. That's just implied. Okay. Yeah, that works.
This is what he meant when he said you better get used to this sort of
Oh, wait,
thing.
he sat down on an old wooden... Okay, so he's actually walked to another chair now. A settle, I'm assuming, is like a bench. He says there's a bench. It's a trestle. One of the... A long... what do you call those? Is it trestle tables if it's like bench, table, bench, and a big long row?
Yeah, I'm picturing like a picnic table. I don't know why. I don't think that's probably right, but...
I can cover that.
Okay.
I took a seat on one of those picnic table type tables and took a look around. There we go. Right.
Excellent. Okay, over to you.
At least some 4 or 5 of us were summoned to our meal in an adjoining room. It was cold as Iceland. Very specific.
Yeah.
No fire at all, unlike Iceland right now. Have you seen that volcano?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, there's live streams of it.
Not great if you live near it, I guess.
Don't know. It gives them a lot of energy, actually. The volcanic stuff's really good. As long as you don't die in it. That would be better. Anyway, it was as cold as Iceland. No fire at all. The landlord said he couldn't afford it. Nothing but 2 dismal tallow candles, each in a winding sheet. We were fain to button up our monkey jackets and hold to our lips cups of scalding tea with our half-frozen fingers. But the fare was of the most substantial kind. Not only meat and potatoes, but dumplings. Good heavens, dumplings for supper! One young fellow in a green box coat addressed himself to these dumplings in the most direful manner. Wait, my boy, said the landlord, you'll have the nightmare to a dead sartainty. What does that mean?
Let's just do this dialogue. You've taken the first part. I'll do the next one. And we'll do that. Landlord, I whispered, that ain't the harpooner, is it?
Oh no, said he, looking a sort of diabolically funny. The harpooner is a dark complexioned chap. He never eats dumplings. He don't. He eats nothing but steaks, and he likes 'em rare.
The devil he does, says I. Where is that harpooner? Is he here?
He'll be here afore long. Okay, there's no real payoff to that. That's just
yeah, I just thought it would be.
You led me down the garden path there, Andy. I don't know what that phrase means, but I feel it applies.
I think it's perfect. Okay, should we? Is that a place to pause for you to start translating?
Yes, it is. Okay, so we went in to have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking cold.
Yeah, I love this. Just really underlining the fact that he's a really bad landlord. Yeah, I don't have a fire. Costs too much money.
We went in for dinner. Into the coldest room you could imagine. Colder than Iceland. Think we can keep that? Colder than Iceland, I would say. Because if we've got to hedge it, because he's saying colder than Iceland, like he knows how cold it is in Iceland, and I don't know if Ishmael's been there. So let's just make him legally safe.
Right. Yeah. If there's anything we're being with this, it's legally safe. So that's our
legally safe is my middle name. If anyone wants to serve me court papers.
Yeah, please use that name so it won't be valid.
Okay, we went in for dinner. Into the coldest room you can imagine. Colder than Iceland, I'd say. A fire would be a good idea here, I said. A fire's too expensive, said the landlord. So we sat, shivered, buttoned up our monkey coats. Andy, what's a monkey coat?
It's just a jacket. Just
monkey coats, which were just a name for a type of coat.
I'm going to pull a picture of one.
And not actually made out of monkeys.
I mean, it's the 19th century. I bet there was some made out of monkeys.
Oh, 100%, yeah. One of the people there, probably the person complaining about the dumplings, is just going to have loads of tiny monkeys stitched together. That's how I choose to visualize this. It's just named for type of coat and not actually made out of monkeys. And burnt our lips with hot tea, which we held with half frozen fingers, which really is pretty confusing if you think about it. What temperature am I supposed to be right now? You know? There's a lot of you knows in this, and I like it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like we're really keen to get the reader on side.
Yeah. There we go. Young fella. Oh yeah, okay. The food was incredible. No, not incredibly. That's not a John Everyman word. The food was. Hey, what did he say? Wholesome? He didn't say wholesome. The food was nice, though. No. You've not just got meat and not just potatoes. You've got both.
And dumpling. I mean, he goes.
And not just both. Dumplings as well. And there's that line that I'm just going to steal. Good heavens, dumplings for supper.
And then there's one young fellow who's stuffing his face with dumplings. And that's when the landlord tells him that he'll have nightmares.
Wait, because he was having too many dumplings, or he was saying they were bad?
Because he's having too many dumplings. He's going to have a dumpling-induced nightmare.
One guy was going...
He's going to imagine Moby coming after him with
the bananas over these dumplings. Brackets, not me. The landlord said, "Buddy..." Oh no, because he's a pirate. "Me hearty, you keep cramming down dumplings in such a manner. You're likely to..." What did he say? You'll have
a nightmare to a dead certainty.
Oh yeah, it's just certainty, isn't it? He's just spelling it weird. You're just gonna have nightmares. Okay.
Yeah. Just for a moment, I really like that the landlord's like, if you eat too many dumplings, you're gonna have nightmares in my tavern, which is covered in the bones of dead animals and implements of murder. The last thing he wants is people having bad dreams.
We can throw a line in about that. Oh wait, no, this is too good to miss up. "Landlord," I whispered. "That's not the guy I'm sharing a bed with, is it?"
Says, "Oh no."
I was concerned that I might be sharing a bed with someone having nightmares in such a place with so many instruments of cruelty upon the walls as this. Yeah, that works.
That's nice. And yeah, the landlord thinks this is very funny, and he's like, "Oh no, this guy never eats dumplings. He eats rare steaks."
The landlord laughed darkly in that way people do when they are holding back some info in a way that is very funny from a certain perspective.
Yeah, we don't want any ambiguity.
No.
As always, we don't want to establish intrigue. We want to make it really clear.
"Oh no, me lad. You're bunk chum. Don't bother with no dumplings."
I like that he's getting more piratey and convoluted.
He only eats meat.
It's rare meat.
He laughed again. "Rare meat. The rarest of meats, ye might say."
Very true.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. I said, not picking up on this. Not picking up on the giggles or anything.
I mean, I think the devil he does is putting it really strongly, actually, or implying that this is like an expletive almost.
Okay, just holy shit.
Yeah. That would be more appropriate, I think.
Yeah, where is he then? Yeah.
Yeah. No. And then the ultimate letdown. I'll be here soon.
Yeah.
Unless you're really unless you really lean into it being foreshadowing. He's been like, "Oh, he'll be here before long."
We can cover that. Oh, he'll be here soon. The innkeeper smirked, laughed,
And then just soon with 10 O's.
waggled his eyebrows, and then refused to make eye contact. Okay. Foreboding. Oh, now here we go. All right. This is you.
All right. I could not help it. I began to feel suspicious of this dark-complexioned harpooner. At any rate, I made up my mind that if it so turned out that we should sleep together, he must undress and get into bed before I did.
Okay. Something in my bones told me that there was something up with this other whale guy. And that if we were going to share a bed, I'd make sure to inspect his naked body before I got in with him. Safety first and all that.
It's a good read, Sam.
Okay. Supper over, the company went back to the bar room, when, knowing not what else to do with myself, I resolved to spend the rest of the evening as a looker-on. Presently a rioting noise was heard without. Starting up, the landlord cried, "That's the Grampus's crew!" "I seed her reporting in the offing this morning. A 3 years voyage and a full ship. Hurrah, boys! Now we'll have the latest news from the Fijis."
This guy is like, I feel like this guy should be a Twitch streamer. Like, he's just turned up to 10 the whole time.
Like,
What's up, chat? This time we've got the Krampus's crew.
Well, that's what we can do when we start streaming Sea of Thieves, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what? Spent the rest of the evening as a looker on. He was just going to hang about. Yep, okay. Anyway. Food was over. And we trickled back to the bar. I didn't have anything to do. So I just kind of sat around. Sat around looking at people. What's the how would Dan Brown settle this in with a kaboom, loud noises? Whoa! how would he convey that? What's the pop author option there? Would it be suddenly, all of a sudden, something like that?
Yeah, all of a sudden, suddenly is a good
all of a
one.
sudden, there was
in a flash is one of my favourites, I think.
That doesn't work for audio.
No, it doesn't.
There was a massive, loud noise. What did he say? Sounded like a riot.
Noise.
Noise.
And then starting up to the landlord springs to his feet and yells.
Barely a moment had passed. Oh yeah, barely had the noise reached my ears when the landlord leapt up out of, no, not out of his clothes, out onto the table. Yeah, and we'll just take that. That's all absolutely perfect.
Are we going to keep Seed?
Yes.
Okay, because he's a pirate.
Yes. What's really nice about this innkeeper is I don't need to translate any of his speech because it's all just pirate chat.
Yeah. It seems like a really nice, enthusiastic way of addressing people. It's just
Yeah.
like he doesn't know any of these people, but he's just like, hurrah,
It's just really
boy!
enthusiastic.
Yeah.
A cooked goose is just brilliant. He must have really liked news from the Fijis. A tramping of sea boots was heard in the entry. The door was flung open, and in rolled a wild set of mariners enough. Enveloped in their shaggy watch coats and with their heads muffled in woolen comforters, all bedarned and ragged, and their beards stiff with icicles, they seemed an eruption of bears from Labrador. Is Labrador a place?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Not from inside a Labrador.
Yeah, that's insane. They had just landed from their boat, and this was the first house they entered. No wonder, then, that they made a straight wake for the whale's mouth, the bar, when the wrinkled little old Jonah, there officiating, soon poured them out brimmers all round. One complained of a bad cold in his head, upon which Jonah mixed him a pitch-like potion of gin and molasses, which he swore was a sovereign cure for old colds and catarrhs and whatsoever. Never mind of how long standed, or whether caught off the coast of Labrador or on the weather side of an ice island.
All right.
All right, they all came in. They were a rowdy bunch.
They've got stiff beards, stiff with icicles.
Rowdy bunch. Especially for a bunch of sailors who looked like shit. Frozen beards. And, bad patch jobs on all their clothes. They swarmed the bar and started complaining about headaches to the innkeeper, who gave them booze.
What a landlord. He's like, what is this? Well, I've got some booze.
I've got just the thing. Okay. The liquor soon mounted into their heads, as it generally... Oh, there, you should get a go. Actually,
Yes.
I'll do this really short one. You can take that enormous one next up. The liquor soon mounted into their heads, as it generally does with even the arrantest topers newly landed from sea, and they began capering about most obstreperously. Andy, words? Arrantist.
Noisily, I believe.
Topers.
I don't know topers. I'm going to look up topers.
Obstreperously.
Yeah, just noisy.
Just very noisy.
Very noisy. I think that's what obstreperous means. Doper. Someone who drinks alcoholic beverages a lot. A drunkard.
Okay. Once they were drunk, they got more noisy. Noisy. So the headache cure must have worked. Headache cure, brackets, booze. Okay.
Nice.
Alright, biggie one.
I observed, however, that one of them held somewhat aloof, and though he seemed desirous not to spoil the hilarity of his shipmates by his own sober face, yet upon the whole he refrained from making as much noise as the rest. This man interested me at once, and since the sea gods had ordained that he should soon become my shipmate, though but a sleeping partner one so far as this narrative is concerned, I will here venture upon a little description of him. He stood full 6 feet in height, with noble shoulders and a chest like a cofferdam. I have seldom seen such brawn in a man. His face was deep brown and burnt, making his white teeth dazzling by the contrast, while in the deep shadows of his eyes floated some reminiscences that did not seem to give him much joy. His voice at once announced that he was a southerner, and from his fine stature I thought that he must be one of those tall mountaineers from the Alleghanian Ridge in Virginia. When the revelry of his companions had mounted to its height, this man slipped away unobserved, and I saw no more of him till he became my comrade at the sea. In a few minutes, however, he was missed by his shipmates, and being, it seems, for some reason, a huge favourite of them, they raised a cry of "Bulkington! Bulkington! Where's Bulkington?" and darted out of the house in pursuit of him. Bulkington's a powerful name.
It's a
isn't
very, very good name for a huge jacked dude.
For a huge guy, yeah. First D&D character. Oh, I want him to be called Bulk, please.
Okay. Rowdy as they were, there was one among them who was not so rowdy.
That makes sense.
He was huge, jacked, handsome, chest broader than a dam. Whatever that means.
Halfway down, yeah, let's look that up.
Chest broader than a dam. And he had nice twinkly eyes that seemed sad. And nice twinkly teeth. Teeth that would look nice in a smile if only he weren't so clearly struggling with some inner demons. He tried to hide it though. So he didn't throw off the vibe from the vibe his pals were enjoying. After a while, he left.
So did all
And
the noisy boys.
that's when I first heard his name. Bulkington! Shouted all of the sailors as they scuttled about the place. As one unit. Like, was it in the film version of The Wizard of Oz where there's the little people who follow the yellow brick road? What were they called? And was it in the film version or a theatre version I've seen where it's literally just one person in a suit who's working them all with one set of controls and they're just like a small hill of faces? Was that the film?
You know what? I actually, you keep finding stuff that I haven't seen. I don't think I've ever watched The Wizard of Oz. But yeah,
like I'll just say Manberg. Like a Manberg.
question from Emma: is he the Duke from Bridgerton? Sounds sexy like him, or The Rock? Is that suggesting that The Rock isn't sexy? Is he?
That's a hot take from Emma there.
Yeah, this needs probing further.
I don't know. Is The Rock too huge to be sexy? Is that a valid point?
Is there like a graph after which
He's just become a different species, you know?
That's a bit strange.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird where the brain goes when you've been reading a bit of Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this guy's too big to be the Duke from Bridgerton. If you've not seen Bridgerton, Andy, it's a show about a man who really likes licking spoons.
Oh, cool. Finally.
I've not seen it, but that's what I understood. All I've seen of it is just this man licking a spoon.
Oh, what a recommendation! Is that the trailer? Is it like a teaser trailer? It's just like 10 seconds
It's
of a
the only
man.
thing I've heard about. Looking for him. Ball King! Oh, Ball King time! It was a great name for such a big lad. I hoped I was sharing a bed with him. He does say that, right?
No.
Oh, what?
Well, actually, no. Sorry, I think he does because. Oh well. Since the gods had ordained that he should soon become my shipmate, though but a sleeping partner one, so far as this narrative is concerned. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I mistakenly, I think, thought that was implying that he thought this guy was going to be sharing a bed with him, but I don't think that's the case.
Well, it looks like he thinks he's going to be.
Does he?
Yeah, he would soon become my shipmate, though but a sleeping partner one, so far as
But
this
I think he's
narrative.
literally foreshadowing the fact that this guy's going to be one of his shipmates, though.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're going to be sleeping together.
In a little ship called a bed.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
I don't know. Oh, my phone has just died.
Nice.
But the last thing I saw on the stream was Emma saying that The Rock is sexy, so thank goodness we settled
We've
that.
got confirmation there.
Yeah.
Cheers, Emma.
And now I will see no more of chat, so farewell, chat. it was good reading you.
My future shipmate, if not in an actual ship, then perhaps in a little ship called a bed. Yes, okay. Right. It was now 9 o'clock, and the room seeming almost supernaturally quiet after these orgies. I began to congratulate myself upon a little plan that had occurred to me just previous to the entrance of the seaman.
What's wrong, Sam?
It was now about 9 o'clock, and the room seeming almost supernaturally quiet after these orgies, I began to congratulate myself upon a little plan that had occurred to me just previous to the entrance of the seaman.
It makes perfect sense.
We've got to suck the joy from this.
Yeah.
That's gonna upset people when they read it. Anyway, everyone had gone. It was about 9 p.m. and I had a good plan in my head. It almost feels like a crime to get rid of this orgy seaman reference.
Yeah.
And we have just had him saying that he really hopes to get friendlier with Bulkington, so is Ishmael a sex pest?
I don't think that's what Melville is saying. So if we're trying to go with the intent of the original, we shouldn't suggest that.
Okay.
Maybe
is this just guys being dudes? Is this just what people were like back then?
This is just that they're being rowdy boys.
Boys will be boys.
It's an orgy in the sense that it's an orgy of people being rowdy rather than an orgy of people
having an orgy.
Yeah, committing sex acts on each other. That's not what he's suggesting.
Okay. Right. I don't know, it was about 9 p.m. and I got a plan in my head. A plan that was yeah. That was in my head before all these sailors turned up, actually. And now I guess we're going to see what that plan is. Alright, I think this one's you, Andy.
Okay. No man prefers to sleep two in a bed. In fact, you would a good deal rather not sleep with your own brother. I don't know how it is, but people like to be private when they're sleeping. And when it comes to sleeping with an unknown stranger in a strange inn in a strange town, and that stranger a harpooner, then your objections indefinitely multiply. Nor was there any earthly reason why I, as a sailor, should sleep two in a bed more than anybody else, for sailors no more sleep two in a bed at sea than bachelor kings do ashore. To be sure, they all sleep together in one apartment, but you have your own hammock and cover yourself with your own blanket and sleep in your own skin. So there you go.
This isn't much of a. He's hyped this up like it's some sort of big revelation, but this seems fairly normal to us modern folk.
I mean, is it a revelation to us that sailors don't share beds either? Is he dispelling?
And Vikings shared beds. I knew that.
Oh.
Kind of weird that the innkeeper wants me to share a bed with a guy. Especially the part about sailors sharing beds. I've been on boats, and let me tell you, you don't share a hammock. How can you? They're all droopy. No, you get your own bed with your own blanket and your own skin to keep all your wet bits in. What was this part about bachelor kings?
Yeah, so he's saying that sailors don't share beds any more than bachelor kings do.
The fuck is a bachelor king?
I guess he's saying like a king who hasn't married yet. Just saying that, even rich folk, that everybody thinks, oh yeah, they're the only people who've got one bed. If you're rich, you're like, because I'm rich, I get to have a bed on my own. Not true. Sailors get to have beds on their own as well.
True. Nobody likes to share a bed. It's a private time. As the innkeeper continued to drill holes in the back of my head with his eyes, I began to have suspicions. I think that covers it.
Excellent.
The more I pondered over this harpooner, the more I abominated the thought of sleeping with him. It was fair to presume that being a harpooner, his linen or woolen, as the case might be, would not be of the tidiest, certainly not of the finest. I began to twitch all over. Besides, it was getting late, and my decent harpooner ought to be home and going bedwards. Suppose now he should tumble in upon me at midnight. How could I tell from what vile hole he had been coming?
Yeah, it's all pretty straightforward. Reasonable concerns.
Educational stream, ladies and gentlemen. Educational content here. Okay.
I mean, you put yourself in Ishmael's position here. He's been offered a bed, and the landlord's like, "You can have that bed. It's another guy's bed." Do you reckon?
Has he even checked with the other guy?
Well, this is the thing. Considering this landlord has been cackling the whole time he's been talking about, do you really think he's the type of person that when that harpooner comes in late at night, he's going to say, "Oh, by the way, there's a guy in your bed," or is he just going to let the guy walk in there and assume you're a murderer?
Oh my god, this landlord's a maniac.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we actually have? Okay. Yeah. The more I thought about it, the worse this deal was looking. Yeah, okay. And besides, I was getting tired and wanted to sleep. I was getting tired and wanted to sleep. But if I go to bed in another guy's bed, which would probably have shitty linens on it, because whale guys are gross. Then what if I'm asleep and he comes back and he's like, who's this guy in my bed?
It's a perfectly reasonable question.
That'd be pretty weird for him. But what if he gets the wrong idea and he's drunk or a serial killer or something? Then he just gets naked and gets into bed with me. Who knows what he'd do? I didn't like it.
Good summary.
Landlord, I've changed my mind about that harpooner. I shan't sleep with him. I'll try the bench here.
Just as you please. I'm sorry I can't spare ye a tablecloth for a mattress, and it's a plaguey rough board here, feeling the knots and notches. But wait a bit, Scrimshander. I've got a carpenter's plane here at the bar. Wait, I say, and I'll make ye snug enough. So saying, he procured the plane, and with his old handkerchief, first dusting the bench, vigorously set to planing away at my bed, while grinning like an ape. The shavings flew right and left, till at last the plain iron became bump against an indestructible knot. The landlord was near straining his wrist, and I told him, for heaven's sake, to quit. The bed was soft enough to suit me, and I did not know how all the planing in the world would make eider down of a pine plank. So, gathering up the shavings with another grin, and throwing them into the great stove in the middle of the room, he went about his business and left me in a brown study.
Okay, so first off, we're keeping this line. That's perfect. Oh, wrong line.
Also, I was just thinking, I think around these paragraphs is maybe a good place to think about how far we're going with this chapter.
Is it a really long one?
We're about halfway through the chapter right now.
Oh, and we've been going for almost
2 hours.
Yeah. Let me just... Okay. Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's a good chapter, though, and I'm really glad we got to this bit.
Chapter.
This is my favourite bit, when he starts planing the bench to make it more comfortable.
Yeah, I think... Okay, where's a good stopping point? Yeah, we'll stop soon, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, no, this is not a bad ending point, because he's left alone to his devices, and then from reading ahead, it looks like he's just going to go absolutely apeshit in his own mind.
Yeah.
While waiting. It's just what happens when you leave him alone.
Yeah. It's. I mean, again, we're in that phase where Ishmael doesn't have a friend yet. As soon as he gets
a friend,
he'll settle down.
Okay, so
this is him rejecting the call of friendship, saying he doesn't want to share a bed with anybody.
I slapped the bench and winced at all the new splinters that had entered my hand.
Good callback to that harpoon making its way through that whale.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. We'll fix some of plate plagouille. I don't think that's not a real word. The innkeeper looked... the innkeeper looked sad for a moment before some manic energy overtook his face. Just as you please. I'm sorry I can't spare ye a tablecloth for a mattress, and it's a plaguey. Is that how you spell plaguey?
It is in Melville's book.
And it's a very uncomfortable bench. Okay. He hopped over the bar, lathe in hand.
It's a plane, isn't it?
Is there a difference?
I don't know.
I think they're the same thing.
I think I say often use them interchangeably, but I suspect there's a difference, maybe.
Well, if we say plane, people are going to think we're talking about an aeroplane. And he's just got a toy plane, and that he really has gone full goblin mode. So I think we probably, I think we go. I think we're lathing it. We're getting all in up. We're lathing it. But wait! Where is he? Oh yeah, but wait, Rich and Shadow got a carpenter's plane in the bar. Okay, we don't need to get that bit. We can keep in Scrimshander. Let's keep calling him a Scrimshander. But wait, me little Scrimshander. I've a lathe. I've a lathe, and I'll have ye snug enough shortly.
You've got to keep in the bit about him grinning like an ape.
Oh, yeah. He scuttled over and wiped down the bench with his handkerchief. No comment on how clean it is. Wiped down the bench with his handkerchief. Oh, he dusted it. Not wiping down. Wiping down. It's the same thing. Viggory set about lathing the bed. And then went to town on the bench with his lathe. I thought about moving out of the way, but was paralyzed by the ferocity in the man's approach.
I like the bit where he's come against this indestructible knot in wood and he just won't stop.
It's just snapping his wrists.
Yeah. Ishmael has to drag him away.
He wasn't looking down at his work. His eyes were fixed on mine, and he was grinning like an ape. Over and over, the lathe bounced off some indestructible knot in the wood. He was sweating. His arms were shaking, and after a while, the strength left his wrists, so that he was just sort of daubing away at the wood. His breathing was ragged.
There's no sense of how much time has passed here. It could have been hours.
Could be minutes. Newsprinters, I told him for heaven's sake to quit. The bed was soft enough. For God's sake, man. I bled over and over again. Stop. It was fine enough before. You don't need to do this. And yet still. Puffing and puffing. He scraped away at his own furniture. After some time had passed, and I can't tell you how much time, because I didn't have a clock, he stopped, winked at me, and scooped up all the shavings, which took a few minutes.
What I like this phrase where it says he left me in a brown study. I think it's like a melodramatic way of saying you're like left kind of deep in thought, like considering your life.
It could be that, or it could be more art chat, and he's talking about studies as in, I will just do this painting entirely in brown.
Oh, well, is that what the thumbnail's going to be?
No, the thumbnail's going to be the first painting.
It better be.
It's chapter 3, part 1, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So good thing. Then he winked again, scuttled over to the fire, and threw in all the shavings. Is there any mention on what happened there? Threw in all the shavings. A thrifty approached
John Everyman likes it.
the fuel crisis.
He's using the whole of the bench. No waste here.
He had previously complained about. Meanwhile, I was covered in sawdust. I was itchy. Alright, I think that's where we'll call that part.
Should we do a full read through to round this off?
Yeah, do you want to be the pirate innkeeper or should I?
Oh, I think you should be the pirate innkeeper.
Okay. Yeah, just do handovers as we go. Unless you want to just read the whole thing and I'll just do a voice.
I can read the whole thing and just give you all the innkeeper parts if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Chapter 3, In the Inn. So you walk into this inn, right, and it looks like shit. Like an old fucked up boat they dragged onto land and forced into being a house. And at the other end of it, there's this painting. No matter which way you look at it, it's shit. Incomprehensible, nightmarish, like something from the age of hags. A gross splat of bad imagery in a frame. You look at it from every angle. Stand all over the place. Ask the people nearby. They don't know what's up either. And maybe the more you look at it and calm down a bit and you think, nah, it's not that bad actually. And then your senses come back and you're like, no, it is bad. That's my review of the painting. It was shit. And there's a lot of things you can say about shit. To me, it looks like a lot of things. Heats, elemental conflicts, midnight gales, some awful time-smashing cataclysm, seas, which you know I'm a big fan of. But mostly I think it looked like a massive fish. Maybe it's just that I had fish on my mind, but my mind was telling me that there was a fish on that painting. That's how art is sometimes, I guess. Then it clicked through. It was actually a ship all fucked up and crashed with a whale doing a sweet jump over it, but sweet turned to sour for this aquatic lad, as he's only kind of speared himself on all of the three masts of the ship. Total lunacy. I wouldn't paint it. What kind of mad bastard would hang a painting like that? Probably the same kind of mad bastard who would hang up a load of monster mode clubs and other weapons. You've got your clubs with teeth in them. You've got club with hair in them. You've got spears and harpoons and lances and every other form of pointed stick that's ever, I'll let you do your work.
Go for it.
That's ever been used to cause harm. There was even a sickle which had a shape to it which I can only describe as being like a long-armed lawnmower. Make of that what you will, for I dare not dwell on it. There was also this absolutely legendary harpoon that was all jacked up by the ravages of time, sea, and whale, so that it looked more like a corkscrew. People said it had once been used by a really cool and handsome whale slayer. He chucked it so hard at a whale's arse that even though the whale got away, it came out through the whale's head years later. Moving further, you begin to figure out what this place is about. It's a theme bar, and the theme is death, death and whales. It's all covered in dusty, cracked and fucked up bottles and other glasswares, and at one end there's a massive whale jaw so big you could use it as the foundation for a 6-person tent if you were a serial killer. But this was no tent. Not right now, anyway. This was a tiny tent.
That doesn't work. This was the nest of a tiny man. This was a nest for a tiny man.
Nice. But this was no tent, not right now anyway. This was a nest for a tiny man, dangerous eyes in his face and a look about him that suggested he wanted to either get you drunk or kill you. I could tell from looking at him this was the kind of barkeeper who was a prick about measures, always ripping you off and underserving like a villain. I walked past some sailors who were having a nice time looking at some fish bones and went on up to the landlord and asked about a room. He looked me up and down and said,
"We ain't got no rooms, but I reckon you're a whale guy, so go share a bed with another whale guy. It's just what whale guys do. Ye are a whale guy, ain't ye?"
I said back to him, "It's not so much about whether he's a whale guy or not. I'll share a bed with anyone. Well, not just anyone. It really depends on the person rather than their occupation, you know. Besides, it's cold outside."
I thought so. All right, take a seat. Supper? You want supper? Supper'll be ready, sir, directly.
I took a seat at one of those picnic-type tables. Took a look around. One guy sat near me, was fumbling around between his legs. His eyes were crossed, and his tongue was poking out. I looked away after a while. He went in. I feel like there should be ellipses between poking out and I looked away after a while.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We went in for dinner into the coldest room you could imagine. Colder than Iceland, I would say. A fire would be a good idea here, I said.
A fire's too expensive,
said the landlord. So we sat, shivered, buttoned up our monkey coats, which were just a name for a type of coat and not actually made out of monkeys, and burnt our lips with hot tea, which we held with half-frozen fingers. Which really is pretty confusing if you think about it. What temperature am I supposed to be right now, you know? The food was nice, though. You've not just got meat and not just potatoes. You've got both. And not just both, dumplings as well. Good heavens, dumplings for supper. One guy was going absolutely bananas over these dumplings. not me. The landlord said,
Me lad, ye keep cramming down dumplings in such a manner, and you're likely to have dumpling-related nightmares.
"Landlord," I whispered, "that's not the guy I'm sharing a bed with, is it?" I was concerned that I might be sharing a bed with someone having nightmares in such a place with so many instruments of cruelty upon the walls as this. The landlord laughed darkly, in that way people do when they're holding back some info, in a way that is very funny from a certain perspective.
Oh no, me lad, your bunk chum don't bother with no dumplings. He only eats meat.
He laughed again.
Rare meat. The rarest of meats, you might say.
Holy shit, I said, not picking up on the giggles or anything. Where is he then?
Oh, he'll be here soon.
The innkeeper smirked, laughed, waggled his eyebrows, and then refused to make eye contact. Something in my bones told me that there was something up with this other whale guy, and that if we were going to share a bed, I'd make sure to inspect his naked body before I got in with him. Safety first, and all that. Anyway, food was over, and we trickled back into the bar. I didn't have anything to do, so I just kind of sat around looking at people. All of a sudden, there was a massive, loud noise. Sounded like a riot. Barely had the noise reached my ears when the landlord leapt up out onto the table.
Just up onto.
That's the Grampus's crew. I seed her reported in the offing this morning. A 3 years voyage and a full ship. Hurrah, boys! Now we'll have the latest news from the Fijis.
He must have really liked news from the Fijis. They all came in. They were a rowdy bunch, especially for a bunch of sailors who looked like shit. Frozen beards and bad patch jobs on all their clothes. They swarmed the bar and started complaining about headaches to the innkeeper, who gave them booze. Once they were drunk, they got more noisy, so the headache cure, booze, must have worked. Rowdy as they were, there was one among them who was not so rowdy. He was huge, jacked, handsome, chest broader than a dam, and he had nice twinkly eyes that seemed sad, and nice twinkly teeth that would look nice if a smile, if only he weren't so clearly struggling with some inner demons. He tried to hide it, though, so he wouldn't throw off the vibes his pals were enjoying. After a while he left, and that's when I first heard his name. "Bulkington!" shouted all of the sailors as they scuttled about the place as one unit, like a man-berg, looking for him. Can you try shouting that sound? Can you render that in my voice?
Bulkington! Or in sailor voice, it would be
Bulkington!
oh, that's yeah, it doesn't work in pirate.
Bulkington.
Toad. It was a great name for such a big lad. I hoped I was sharing a bed with old Bulky, my future shipmate, if not in an actual ship, and perhaps a little ship called a bed. Anyway, everyone was gone. It was about 9 p.m., and I had a good plan in my head. A plan that was in my head before all these sailors turned up, actually. Kind of weird that the innkeeper wants me to share a bed with the guy, especially the part about sailors sharing beds. I've been on boats. Let me tell you, you don't share a hammock. How can you? They're all droopy. No, you get your own bed with your own blanket and your own skin to keep all your wet bits in. Nobody likes to share a bed. It's a private time. As the innkeeper continued to drill holes in the back of my head with his eyes, I began to have suspicions. The more I thought about, the worse this deal was looking, and besides, I was getting tired and wanted to sleep. But if I go to bed in another guy's bed, which would probably have shitty linens on it because whale guys are gross, and what if I'm asleep and he comes back and he's like, "Who's this guy in my bed?" That'd be pretty weird for him. But what if he gets the wrong idea and he's drunk or a serial killer or something, and then he just gets naked and gets in bed with me, Who knows what he'd do? I didn't like it. Landlord, I've changed my mind about that harpooner. I shan't sleep with him. I'll try the bench here. I slapped the bench and winced at all the new splinters that had entered my hand. The innkeeper looked sad for a moment before some manic energy overtook his face.
Just as you please. I'm sorry I can't spare you a tablecloth for a mattress, and it's a very uncomfortable bench.
He hopped over the bar, lathe in hand.
But wait, me little scrimshander, I've a lathe, and I'll have ye snug enough shortly.
Scuttled over and wiped down the bench with his handkerchief, and then went to town on the bench with his lathe. I thought about moving out of the way, but was paralysed by the ferocity in the man's approach. He wasn't looking down at his work. His eyes were fixed on mine, and he was grinning like an ape. Over and over, the lathe bounced up some indestructible knots in the wood. He was sweating. His arms were shaking, and after a while, the strength left his wrists as he was just sort of daubing away at the wood. His breathing was ragged. For God's sake, man, I plead over and over again. Stop. It was fine before. You don't need to do this. And yet, still, huffing and puffing, he scraped away at his own furniture. After some time had passed, I can't tell you how much time because I didn't have a clock, he stopped, winked at me, scooped up all the shavings, which took a few minutes. Then he winked again, cuddled over to the fire, threw in all the shavings, a thrifty approach to the fuel crisis he had previously complained about. Meanwhile, I was covered in sawdust. I was itchy.
That was brilliant. Yeah, very good. And that's...
I think that's the best chapter yet.
I don't know. Chapter 1's pretty strong, but I'm glad that we're finally getting some good pirate voice. That's why I'm here.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that works. I think it definitely tells a story. I think it's good that Ishmael's so interested in art. That's good for his personal development there.
Mm-hmm.
It shows he's not a one-dimensional character. He's just a guy who likes water.
I like that you got to create a painting out of it, a unique work of art.
I did, yeah. How do I turn this into one of those NFTs and destroy the planet in exchange for cash?
Join us next time.
Crypto boys. Yeah. I think that works. Yeah, we'll do I was gonna say. Don't know when we'll do the next one, because it's bank holiday, isn't it? We could do a double bill. We could finish chapter 3 and then crack on with the next chapter, unless that's also really, really long.
I suspect it will be, but we could get halfway through it.
Yeah, I suppose we could. This is so much text. The counterpane. Oh, no, the next chapter's really short. Yeah,
excellent. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, all you at home. And yeah, I've got nothing else to say. Andy, do you have anything else to add?
Just thanks for joining us. It's been a lovely time. I think we can all agree.
It's been a very lovely time. I think we should close it out with ASMR mode. Just we've got to cool us down. It's like after you do one of those online exercise classes, and then they make you just like do a stretch at the end and play music and tell you to breathe in, and then they make you hold your breath like for way too long. And you'll never breathe again. That would be very cruel. We'll not do that, because this is a safe place for everybody to just come in and just learn about art, apparently.
I think, anybody
whales.
When we're like screaming in pirate voices, that's when they're like, oh yeah, this is a safe place.
That's when people learn the most, I think.
They're cornered by a pirate.
Basically. I mean, you got to learn quick. It's like what Jeffrey Rush said. You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Swan.
You're in one.
And she, you know what? After that little pep talk, she really got on board with it, and just a lot of growth. I'm proud of her. We could start doing, like, this is going to take us ages to do. And I think after we do this, we maybe do Don Quixote or War and Peace.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, but like really, really quick version. What we can do after that, or just in general, like we've done the take something difficult and make it the easy to digest version.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we take something that's easy to digest and make it really hard to read?
Yeah.
What if we do the Pirates of the Caribbean novelization?
Yes. Am I doing the typing this time?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll just watch. We would get sued for that. Actually, no, let's not do that. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Disney.
I mean, Disney, well known for not being a very litigious company.
Yeah, you can trust old Uncle Walt. Trust him to be a fucking dick.
There goes our Disney sponsorship. Oh, we were going to try and get this show put on Disney Plus, Sam, and you've ruined it.
Oh, no.
Torpedoed it.
I just want to close us with this image, just while we're talking about Disney. And it's how the Disney animators were very good, and for... there it is.
Yeah.
I've shown this picture to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really low res. Oh, fucking hell, I've got too many pictures. I'll just tell you. There were protests because Disney treat their animators like shit, and they did back in the day. And it was Walt Disney's birthday, so the animators made a guillotine to give to him as a present. And they just stood outside with black hoods on, holding up a sign that said, "Happy Birthday, Walt." And it was just a guillotine. So, you know, maybe Disney isn't all bad, but the management is.
In conclusion.
Yeah. All right, cool. We should probably close this off there. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. Let's put some ocean sounds on again. Here we are. These are messing up my YouTube recommendations now, by the way. Like, because I'm playing this off YouTube. Don't arrest me. Don't arrest me, YouTube. But I just keep getting recommended different sounding oceans now. You know what? I think that's fine. Anyway, we'll see y'all later. Have a nice day. See you in a bit.